Why do we compare ourselves to others across life, careers, relationships, and social media daily? This habit feels natural but often steals joy, focus, and confidence from our everyday lives. In this video, we'll explore causes, triggers, effects, and practical solutions to stop comparing today. First, understand comparison is a social emotion rooted in evolution and the need for belonging. Ancient humans compared status and resources to survive. Today, the context has shifted dramatically online. Modern social media magnifies comparisons by showing curated highlights, not messy, everyday reality for most. Comparison sneaks in when we lack clear personal values or a strong sense of self-direction. Insecurity and low self-esteem act as fuel, making even small differences feel like personal failures. Perfectionism pushes us to measure against impossible standards, increasing anxiety and chronic dissatisfaction every day. Triggers are specific situations or cues that ignite the comparison reflex, often without conscious awareness. Scrolling feeds late at night, seeing polished success stories easily activates our self-critical internal dialogue. Job promotions, awards, romantic updates, and lavish vacations act as direct comparison triggers for many. Photos, highlight reels, and selective storytelling hide context. We compare our lives to their best. Direct comments or backhanded compliments from peers can sting and trigger instant self-evaluation and doubt. Life transitions like graduation, moving cities, or ending relationships expose vulnerabilities and ramp up comparisons. Effects of comparison include reduced motivation, decision paralysis, envy, resentment, and erosion of authentic self-worth. Mental health suffers. Increased anxiety, depression, and persistent negative self-talk become common over time frequently. Relationships strain when comparison breeds jealousy, unrealistic expectations, and judgment instead of empathy and support. Productivity drops because energy is diverted to worrying about others instead of focusing on goals. Decision-making weakens because fear of imperfect choices increases. We mimic others instead of innovating.
Financial choices can suffer when we overspend to keep up with perceived lifestyles and expectations.
Comparison creates an endless treadmill, more achievement required to feel temporary satisfaction. Children and teenagers are vulnerable. The peer acceptance and identity formation make comparisons intense. Workplaces can foster comparison with ranking systems, and competitive cultures lacking psychological safety. Comparison isn't always harmful. It can motivate learning when used as information rather than identity. But most comparisons today are social signals distorted by algorithms and highlight focused human behavior. So how do we break this cycle? Start by noticing thought patterns when comparisons arise.
Awareness creates space to choose responses instead of reacting. This is the first tool for change.
Practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself like you would a dear friend facing the same challenge.
Limit social media consumption intentionally, set time blocks, and curtail passive scrolling during vulnerable hours.
Curate your feed. Follow creators who show growth, failure, process, and honest behind the scenes. Shift focus from outcomes to systems. Work on habits and processes rather than chasing trophies. Define your values clearly. They become a personal compass, reducing the power of external comparisons.
Set micro goals that align with what matters to you. Progress beats public comparison every time.
Practice gratitude daily. Noting small wins rewires attention away from scarcity toward growth. Use comparisons as curiosity prompts. Ask what you can learn rather than how you fail. Build a comparison pause. Breathe, name the emotion, and choose a constructive next step intentionally. Surround yourself with supportive people who model vulnerability, growth, and realistic success regularly. Therapy or coaching helps reframe comparison, heal insecurity, and develop actionable strategies. Practice skill building in areas that interest you. Competence replaces envy with confidence.
Journal what you admire about others versus what you want to cultivate within yourself.
Celebrate others' progress authentically. Admiration builds social connection and reduces competitive.
Limit comparison triggers. Remove accounts that consistently provoke envy, and unfollow to protect focus. Reframe failure as feedback. Every setback contains data for growth rather than proof of inadequacy. Measure progress privately using metrics that matter to you, not publicly visible vanity metrics others. Create a mantra to recenter during envy moments, like my path, my pace, my progress. Limit comparison with highlight-free zones, times when you intentionally avoid social metrics. Practice skillful self-talk. Replace I'm not enough with I'm learning, improving, and making progress today. When comparing, ask, whose story am I seeing and what context is missing from snapshot? Celebrate small, private wins publicly with yourself. Reinforce identity apart from external applause. Cultivate hobbies purely for joy, not status. Motivation weakens the pull of social comparison. Use comparison strategically. Learn habits or resources others use instead of measuring self-worth blindly. Practice presence, mindfulness, and grounding exercises reduce reactive thinking and comparison. Create accountability with compassionate friends. Share goals privately and celebrate mutual progress.
Learn to reframe social proof. Popularity doesn't equal quality. Depth and values often go unseen.
Guard your inner narrative. The stories you tell yourself shape emotions and future choices profoundly. Practice acceptance. Your journey won't mirror someone else's timeline, and that's perfectly okay. Celebrate effort publicly, not only outcomes. Praise persistence, learning curves, and problem solving. Understand upward and downward comparisons. Both can harm well-being. Aim for constructive comparisons. Use mentors instead of rivals. Mentorship reframes comparison into growth-focused relationship. Design your environment. Visible reminders of values and gratitude notes reduce comparison triggers. Practice slow exposure to triggers. Face envy-provoking cues and notice responses without acting on them. Develop a strengths list and review it weekly. Confidence grows from repeated evidence of capability. Avoid comparison during decision windows. Make important choices when grounded and aligned with values. Teach kids healthy comparison habits. Model gratitude, celebrate effort, and reduce public ranking at home. Recognize the role of storytelling. People craft narratives. You are not seeing the whole truth. Create rituals that celebrate progress. Small ceremonies help encode achievements into identity. Practice self-inquiry. When jealous, ask what value you want, not why someone else has it. Document your learning curve visually. Seeing growth over months reduces the illusion of others' success.
Practice compassionate comparison. Compare to past version of yourself and lessons learned today.
Use role models as inspiration, not blueprints. Adapt lessons to your context and personal constraints.
Recognize that external validation is transient. Inner validation builds stable confidence.
Acknowledge successes of others openly. This rewires your brain toward cooperative celebration instead of competition. Learn financial discipline. Budgeting helps prioritize values, so spending doesn't become a comparison tool regularly. Practice humility. Admit knowledge gaps and ask for help. Vulnerability decreases the need to compare. Notice language cues. Should, must, and if only often signal comparison-driven thinking patterns to reframe. Practice savoring. Linger over wins, small pleasures, meaningful interactions to cultivate contentment.
Build an identity beyond metrics. Label yourself by values, roles, and virtues rather than follower.
Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Beginners learn faster without the pressure of perfection. Use measurable, private progress logs. Data about your improvements reduces the subjective sting of comparison. When envy arises, translate it into action steps. What small practice could close that gap? Develop resilience. Setbacks are data, not destinations. Resilient people iterate and keep moving forward consistently.
Practice generosity. Giving attention, praise, or help reduces scarcity mindset and increases well-being.
Balance aspiration with acceptance. Want more, but accept present circumstances kindly. Track emotional triggers. Note times and people that provoke comparison.
Practice long-term perspective. Today's highlight doesn't predict decade-long incomes.
Remember, progress rarely looks linear. Comparing snapshots ignores the slow arc of skill. Start today. Pick one solution, practice it for 30 days, and notice change in yourself.